Yo, 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 what's good, everyone? It's your boy GD, the sports actor, and we are back. We're back, people. 2025. Just want to say Happy New Year. Get that out of the way. It is January 3rd today, but Happy New Year's. Hope you guys brought in the new year with good energy, good vibes, and a new commitment to yourself. 2024 is in our rear view, and it is behind us, and now we are moving forward. Now, I started this series covering, the draft last year, covered OTAs, covered the preseason into the regular season. And I believe it was after week 8, 9, I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, the New York Giants weren't putting anything productive together that was worth a response. I mean, last week we went ahead and won a game that we essentially should have lost. And I'm never going to call for a team to tank, but I do understand strategically that would have put us in a way better position than we are right now. Currently, the New York Giants sit 4th in the NFL draft coming up. We have one more game this season, our game versus the Eagles, of course. Our last game is going to be versus the Eagles over at their house. And it'll be an interesting one because I'd like to lose. There's a lot of factors going into that game. Saquon Barkley attempting to beat Eric Dickerson's record, even though he would have gotten it with more games. So shouldn't really even count as a breaking of a record, or at least have an asterisk next to his name for that. But I hear that the Eagles are going to be sitting him, which would be the smarter thing to do because there's no reason to get an injury from a Giants player who wants to make a name for himself, and taking out Saquon would be a pretty good way to do that. So I think that they're going to sit him and not risk him breaking a record, which would be cool for him to do, set himself up in the history books. But he's Saquon Barkley. He's already in the history books as a, top 2 running back, if not 1. So now we're back to the Giants. We have our last game against the Eagles. We're sitting at a position where we're 3 and I believe it's 3-13 at the moment. And I want the Giants to lose. If the Giants lose, and this is the rationale for it. If the Giants lose, we go from 4 to possibly back up to 1 or 2 or maybe even 3. But the higher we are, the more we're able to do. Okay? The more scenarios we can look around and try to figure out what will best fit the New York Giants for this next season after this one is complete. Whether it's, trading down and going for some picks and trying to see if maybe we don't go after a quarterback right away and we try to build our offensive line and defensive line up, because those two things right now need a lot of help. We do need a quarterback. That's apparent. We definitely need a quarterback. But the quarterback can't come into a place that isn't set up and ready for him. And we've gone through that already, especially with Daniel Jones. You're just going to go get a QB and expect him to perform at an elite level while not addressing any other position on the field. It just doesn't work that way. So, I mean, Abdul Carter, his name is out there. Maybe we go for him first. We need help on that D-line to get pressure on these QBs to help the secondary. I mean, we saw what was going on with Deonte Banks having a lot of trouble, Cordell Flott, Dory Jackson, because the quarterback just had time. They had so much ample time to do whatever they wanted to do. Brian Burns, come into the system first year, he did a lot of great things. I believe if he gets maybe one more sack, he would be at 10 sacks for the season, which would be a high for him. Kayvon Thibodeau hasn't really panned out the way that we thought that he would. Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau is good at the position, but is he great? That's still up in the air. We haven't really seen any greatness coming from Kayvon Thibodeau or really seen him being a threat. I mean, actually this year, Azeez Ojulari probably looked a lot better than Kayvon Thibodeau did. So we definitely need some help on the D-line. I know we have Chapman, Jordan Riley, some guys, that we can rotate in and who are great, but when Dex isn't on the field, we need others to step up. And so going after someone for the D-line would be smart, when it comes to Giants strengthening their defense. Now, when it comes to the offense, I mean, there's a lot of holes. You could say that we need a quarterback. You could say that we need a wide receiver, because we do need someone to complement Malik Neighbors. You can say that we need a center. We need guards. We need a right tackle. These are positions that need to be addressed immediately. I mean, the Giants have about 17 positions to fill. So if we go from 4 to maybe 1 or 2, trade down, because I do believe we have all this hype about who's going after which quarterback, who's going to go take who. Guys, some of the greatest quarterbacks that we've seen so far on some of these teams, or some of these quarterbacks who have been able to come in and make a difference, the only ones that I've really seen come out of college and were just NFL ready right from the jump would probably be JD5, Jaden Daniels, currently with the Commanders. I would say probably CJ Stroud, playing currently with the Houston Texans. And I think those two would be it, that came straight out of the draft, that produced, brought their team to the playoffs at a high level, and really did some great things. Those guys went first. Everybody else who's been able to go into the league and do something, the Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, guys like that, they went in the later rounds. They were able to get found later in the game. The Tom Brady's. So, although quarterback, I believe, should be a focus, do I think that maybe we go after a QB in the first round, our first pick? Or do we have the ability to maybe pick the quarterback that we want a little bit later? I really think that the Giants need to get their ears on the ground, try to get a couple feelers out to see what exactly is the tempo for the teams ahead of us and what are their immediate needs. Because that's really going to dictate what falls to us, what we decide to do, whether we trade down or try to trade up or any of these different things that the New York Giants could do. But going into this next season, as I said before, we really need to find some help at the wide receiver position. Jalen Hyatt just didn't produce this year as he thought he would. He said this year was going to be a great breakout year for him and that he was going to be doing a lot more, playing a lot more. The guy's barely gotten any targets. He's barely seen any field time, and he has 0 touchdowns. And that is insane. From all the accomplishments that he came into the league with, it's almost like we got this guy from just like a random walk-on. Some guy that just woke up and said, hey, I want to play football today. You guys got any room? And you guys just saw him run a 40 and you're like, yep, come on, man, come do it. Because I just don't get it. And partially because, we don't have a quarterback. Also partially because Jalen Hyatt doesn't create any type of separation. I've watched multiple games where he's played, and it's pretty easy to shut him down. I mean, you would expect that he would be able to do maybe in a Xavier Worthy or a Jameson Williams or a Rashid, something where you have a gunner, a guy who runs really fast, and you throw the high balls trying to see if he'll make an attempt or burn the individual who's guarding him, but he doesn't create any separation, and that creates a problem. Because if you can't create separation, that means you're not running routes well. That means that the only thing that you are probably doing is running in a straight line. And if you're going to do that, try to draw some type of pass interference, something. You couldn't even do that to get yards. So with Jalen Hyatt, I'm not convinced. I'd rather maybe see what we could do and let him go on another team, and possibly they could get a lot more out of him. But I would like to bring in another wide receiver, whether that's maybe a big target through the draft, someone who's up in the 6'3", Mike Evans build type of things. That'd be great pairing with a Malik Neighbors, or you go get a guy like a T. Higgins. Mike Evans isn't leaving over there with what he's going on in Tampa, but a guy like T. Higgins would be great for the Giants to try to go after. I'm trying to think of who else has a great frame, great hands, who would be able to fit in the New York Giants scheme. And we'll go over this, maybe in a few weeks. I'll think about that one. That's a good question for me to look into. But there are other players out there that the New York Giants could get veteran presence to help develop and to help lead some of the rookies that we have in our locker room, because we do have quite a few. We have quite a few rookies, and we have a pretty young team. and we let go of a lot of vets. And this is, in my opinion, has caused a bit of confusion, a lack of galvanizing from the team because of the lack of veteran voices. I mean, you have some guys, Dex, Burns, on the defense, but the offense really doesn't have a veteran voice. I can't say that Slayton is a veteran voice that, the rookies would probably draw to. He's always been a pretty, I'd like to think, mild, quiet guy who gets the job done. I'm not sure what type of vocal leader he is in the locker room, but I just feel like there are other individuals who might be able to come off with just a little bit more aura, a little bit more charisma to get this team going to where it needs to go. George Pickens would be a great pickup. The Giants were looking for that, but I do really believe that we need a veteran wide receiver or possibly a veteran quarterback. There's a lot of QBs on the board right now. I mean, you have Jameis Winston, who could be a possibility. Matt Stafford, I've heard his name. Kyler Murray, I've also heard. Let's see, what other QBs have I heard? Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. So there are QBs out there. So we don't need to make this a pressing issue that we have to go get a QB. Yes, you want to get the franchise QB, but I've heard from reports the QB class is in 2026 anyways. I don't mind waiting till 2026. So 2024 kind of flew by. It's already 2025. I don't mind waiting till 2026 to get the quarterback that will launch us into the next 10, 15 years of greatness and then some. But you got to make sure you have the pieces. You got to make sure that you have the other parts that are able to help flourish this offense. And another thing that I want to talk about when I speak about offenses, I really do think that we should keep Brian Daboll. Okay, if you're going to keep Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen as a package, cool. I would have let Joe Schoen go just because of the smugness that he had when he was talking to Saquon, and he just disrespected the star. He disrespected your best player on the team, telling him to go out there, see what's out there, making it seem like he just didn't even care to sign a contract. And that's not how you treat stars. That's not how you treat rookies that were drafted into this organization. You let McKinney go. For what reason? No idea. McKinney is a great leader, great safety, having an incredible season with the Packers, going to the playoffs. No idea why you let him go. And so you're letting all these pieces go, letting all these pieces fly off the board. And Brian Daboll is just the chef. I mean, the Shane is the one doing the inventory. He's the one at the store buying the ingredients, and then he hands it over to Brian Daboll and says, hey, this is what I got you, man. Make this work. Make a meal for Giant fans. Make a meal for them. Something good. Daboll's just looking like, hey, buddy, I mean, I could make a meal, but I got no stove. I got all the other ingredients. I got some good ingredients in here. Definitely some tasty stuff. Some Neighbor celery. We got some Wandell carrots. We got some Theo Johnson potatoes. Damn, I just don't have a stove to bring some heat to this. We got the Tyrone Tracy broth. Where is the stove? Where is the heat? That's the quarterback. That is what the New York Giants are missing. And so I really do hope that this issue gets addressed. It'll be interesting to see how we play against the Eagles. Of course, you never want to lose against the Eagles. That's in our DNA. We're just in a predicament right now. Our scheduling has just put us in this position to where after all this has happened, the Hard Knocks, the Saquon, people ragging on the Giants week after week, the New York Giants have to face their final game against the Philadelphia Eagles. If we win, great. We push ourselves back further in the draft position. If we lose, cool. We suck. We sit at 3-14. Eagle fans rag on us the whole summer, the whole year, until the start of the next one. So it's a lose-lose all the way around. It's not really like it means anything. Maybe I would have wished we lost the last game and then chose to win this one, the very last one. That would have been great. But you wanted to win a game at home. So you didn't do it all season, and you had to do it for the fans that came and paid their hard-earned money to come watch. But we'll see. Still up in the air. I believe we're going to be sitting a good majority of our starters, which is smart. We don't want anyone injured off of this game. That doesn't really matter for the New York Giants anyways. Win or lose, the organization doesn't seem to care. We're going to make moves how we make moves. And so, looking at all of that, definitely think that the Eagles have a good chance. Will Saquon play so he could break his record? Like I said, they said they're sitting him down, but what they say versus what they do game day are two different things. So we'll definitely see which decision they'll make. But as far as everything else concerning the New York Giants, I definitely am going to be, more consistent, look for some of these nuggets so I can, bring them forth. But I had a great first year with this first run. A lot of practice, a lot of things that I can improve on and learn as I get ready for, reporting on Knicks basketball, as well as, reporting on more Giants news and information. But this is great. I'm loving this. It's very exciting. And I just want to thank you guys for watching, supporting if you are. And if no one is watching or supporting yet, just stay tuned because I'm going to give you a reason to watch and support. But yeah, just want to say thank you. Just want to say Happy New Year. And as we go into this new year, just don't give up on yourself. Stay committed and continue to root for each other, root for your team, and root for me too. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, this is your boy GD, the sports actor, and just want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are awesome. And let's go blue. Also today, the New York Knicks are going to be facing the OKC Thunder. New York Knicks are on a 10-game win streak, while OKC is on a 14-game win streak. Jalen Brunson is listed as questionable. I believe McBride is out, Mitchell Robinson. As far as the OKC, I just think that they have Chet, that one of their main starters, who's still out currently. But other than that, this should be a full team against another full team. Two great teams on a great winning streak will be in the playoffs. These two teams, possibly championship. Could this be a preview? I guess we'll see. But me, the Knicks are rated as the underdogs in this one. And I really think that they're going to pull this one out. So it's going to be an exciting game. Can't wait to watch it. 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, so make sure you tune in. Follow the New York Giants. Follow the New York Knicks. Follow me. And let's keep getting this. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Peace. Oh, before I forget, let's go blue!